What's up, visitors? It's the Tank Talks Whatever show. Yay! Yeah, I should have hired a full cast. Okay, Preston the piano, you can go now. It seems I won't need you anymore.
You do have an audience. If you're gonna earn that $2.10 for that bacon egg sandwich, you gotta entertain them.
But wait, I don't have any skit ideas.
Do the thing where you talk about whatever. After all, it is called Tank Talks Whatever.
No. Sonny stuck me to this chair, so I guess I have to talk about whatever now until he comes up with a better skit idea. So, Muppets, am I right? The Muppets. One interesting bunch of characters. Running back to September of 1966 and 55 years later, they still exist. Muppets have had a long run, had their own show, various movies, they lived on for a really long time. And they were really well known, so much so, some of the characters have their own star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And that's a very good bragging point. They were so popular, Disney was working on a dedicated land for them at Disney's Hollywood Studios in the early 90s. At the same time, Disney was in discussions to buy the Jim Henson Company, which included properties like the Muppets. But one day, Jim Henson, the creator of the Muppets, sadly passed away and everything sort of stopped. Not much happened with the Muppets after this, but the Walt Disney Company eventually got to the Muppets property, and one of the attractions from the Muppet Land, Muppet Vision, was built. Reason why I mention this was to set the groundwork for the new Muppets movie. In 2011, Disney released The Muppets, a reboot sequel to the franchise. Unlike Muppet Vision, which was designed before Jim Henson's passing, this was the first Disney Muppets project with no involvement from him. Forgot I had a serious historian mode enabled. Tonk, can you fix that? It's on the panel behind my head. Algo español.
Impressive.
De todas maneras, les Muppets siempre ha sido una franquicia interesta para mí.
Vamos a cambiar eso.
Oh, that's much better, thank you. Anyways, The Muppets is a really, really weird movie. It screams of early 2010s-ness, but also is a bit timeless on some other really weird aspects. The film feels like a really good revival of The Muppets, bringing back the classics, but also does a lot of weird modernization twists and jokes which somehow work super well with The Muppets. And the whole film is just like that. It somehow works really well, and every time I watch it, I can be entertained by it. All of this has culminated to The Muppets becoming one of my favorite films of all time. I can lie and say it was a deep and meaningful film which impacted my heart and soul, changing me entirely, when really just a dumb fun movie, and it literally does nothing to complement society. It's just a Muppets movie. That's all that matters. It's the Muppets. And I just love this film because it's endlessly entertaining to me. Its jokes are all super funny to me. It's one of those films I can watch on repeat over and over again because I just find it so enjoyable. I don't burst out laughing every time, but I don't get tired of the jokes either. Whereas I can watch a film 3 times and be, oh, these jokes are boring now. The jokes here are really clever for some weird reason. I mean, come on, it's the Muppets. The film doesn't need to be the cinematic masterpiece. It just has to do what the Muppets do best, which is entertain. The Muppets start off with a great protagonist introduction. The film's protagonist is the definition of an anime villain. Walter, he's short, he can whistle, and he's a Muppet. That's how to make the perfect anime protagonist. He's never fit into life because he's, well, a Muppet. And the Muppets were that escape for him from reality. They were Muppets, like him. I like it when movies do this type of protagonist thing, where the protagonist in the story is a fan of a thing in it. I don't get why, it might be because of relatability to said character, but I feel like it's pretty cool and I like it when it's used, because it just, oh cool. He's a fan of it, like me. He is me. I am an anime protagonist. But there's one major question which Walter brings to the board that completely changes my thinking on the Muppets. Walter being part of a human family says a lot. Either this means that he's adopted, or that there's a very rare chance that your child will be a Muppet. Ponder that. The plot follows Walter as he goes on a journey with his brother Gary and Gary's girlfriend Mary to save the Muppets from corporate greed. How'd we go from fried frog legs to this? Gary and Mary, wait, that rhymes? Make the horrible mistake of bringing Walter with them on their anniversary trip, which leads them to breaching international borders, violating immigration laws as a couple. How sweet. While visiting Muppet Studios, Walter discovers the evil plans to destroy Muppet Studio and make oil. Tex Richmond, one interesting guy. He had a killer solo with one really memorable line of, "I got my money," with that weird pose thing. It's like a repeating gif in my mind. It's terrifying. Stuck in my head. Please stop. Please, someone help. I need help, please. But he wants the oil like all rich businessmen. He is sort of memorable though, because, maniacal laughter, maniacal laughter, maniacal laughter. And the jokes in this, man, I am an immature child, so of course I keep on laughing at this. Like, there are just those some few jokes that always get me. Like, come on, Jack Black had the most memorable lines in all of cinema, including,
"I told you I'm not done putting on my balls!"
"Don't laugh, don't laugh, don't laugh, don't laugh." Oh, Jack Black, you weirdo. You not only were there for a celebrity cameo, but you were also an important character to the plot. You deserve to get kidnapped and held ransom for the purpose of saving the Muppets' name. And then go through a barbershop quartet, which used the same song from the Black Widow movie opening. And no, I'm not kidding. Looking back at some of the jokes, some feel outdated and some others seem childish, but I feel like there are some really top tier ones that work really well. Easily the best comedy in this film is the comedy the Muppets have always done, which is breaking the fourth wall. There's so many jokes which break the fourth wall, and those are the best ones. Gives me flashbacks to the original Muppets movie where the Electric Mayhem read the screenplay for the film up to the point where they were. Nor do they really take away from the film because despite it having a pretty serious plot, it still feels like a wacky Muppets adventure. A wacky Muppet adventure to reunite the Muppets, which puts Gary and Mary's relationship on ropes. As you can tell, I took Transitioning 101 at school. I don't see the point of giving me this entire script.
I saw this somewhere on YouTube. Just do it. You'll get sympathy points.
Fine. Piano!
Whose idea was this?
Attempting to break into Kermit the Frog's house leads them to not getting a cease and desist from Kermit the Frog. Instead, they meet Kermit the Frog. I was expecting Fozzie. And from then on, they kidnap the rest of the Muppets and put them in a show to raise $10 million to save their studio. Sort of like how I'm raising $2.10 to make a bacon egg sandwich because I'm broke. How'd I even rent out a theater? Oh. Plot device.
Hello, 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 hello.
Oh, come on! The songs in the Muppets are amazing. Listen, I'm not a musical guy. I'll stab out my ears temporarily if I could to ignore them, but this movie has made musicals tolerable. Like, these songs are the only musicals on my private playlist, which literally has no other musicals besides OSTs. Man or Muppet, life's a happy song. Let's talk about me. Smells Like Teen Spirit, Me Party, Pictures in My Head. All of these songs are so great. But the best one is the remake of Rainbow Connections by Fozzie the Bear. Such an informative song, like, come on. I just needed to know that there is no free parking for RVs. Oh, but then there's the actual remake at the end of the film, which is literally magic. It is beautiful in every way. One of the best songs ever had the best remakes ever. Kermit sings Rainbow Connections once again with Miss Piggy, but nearing the end all the Muppets join in and do a chorus, and then Animal plays on his drums, which his entire character arc is built around him learning to become a drummer again, because apparently it caused him anger management issues, and then he was friends with Jack Black because of it. All of these songs are so great. The rest of the soundtrack has random lines from the movie, like, bro, my favorite song is We Drive. It's 5 seconds long, but like, come on, we drive! I really can't explain why or how, but something just makes all these songs really catchy and good. Like, they don't have overly dramatic beats or rap solos by Eminem. They just hit so hard despite being very basic. And all this culminates into the finale where Walter joins the Muppets and finds his talent of whistling, which had like zero setup, and the only possible link is the chili dogs, but At its heart, the Muppets is a wholesome story about finding who you are in this world. Seriously, in this film, Walter and Gary go through an identity crisis of whether they are a man or whether they are a Muppet. And man, Walter is frickin' Sheldon from Big Bang Theory, and for 10 years now, this scene has baffled me! Walter always looking up to the Muppets and becoming one of them by the end of the film is a nice arc, which is a nice conclusion to him always being a fan of them. Gary proposes to Mary, it's a yes or no question, and she said mana. Now that's rejection. We never heard from them again, like they weren't even in the sequel. This worries me. What happened to Gary? The Muppets are back together, now knowing that the world didn't forget about them, that they are still loved, and that they can keep making Muppet shows. Because Tex Richmond became good, totally not because he was physically assaulted by a bowling ball. Now that's a wholesome story. We are so close to $2.10. Anybody got an idea?
Behold our special guest, Henry the Man-Stick.
Isn't he a multi-billionaire?
He was awake when I found him.
Oh, hey you. Press the sleeping gas. Doesn't work very long though.
You kidnapped Henry the Man-Stick?
He's not a kid last time I checked. It worked. You can leave now.
Thanks.
This is gonna take a while. Strange to me how I just enjoy this film as much as I do. Unlike other films, which I love so much because of nostalgia, I never really was a Muppets fan growing up. I mean, I remember seeing it on Disney Channel in like 2014, 2015, but that was it. Well, like other films, like I came to love Godzilla vs. Kong. I love it so much, mainly because I was a massive Godzilla fan in 2014. But this Muppets movie, the Muppets, just holds a really special key in my heart now. I've come to enjoy the Muppets in more recent times. If I remember correctly, I think I remember I actually watched it for the first time on a family road trip, and it was on my list of things I wanted, and I downloaded, so I did watch it. And it is just such a fun and enjoyable film for me. It's entertaining, it's stupid, it's the Muppets. And Jack Black, come on. He said the word balls. I can't handle this. Finally, the bacon egg sandwich. 2 pieces of bread, 2 eggs, 2 pieces of bacon, and a lot of A1 steak sauce. Tonk, what are you doing?
Executing Sandwich Slayer Protocol. We should establish a new protocol where next time we fight over a bacon egg sandwich, we should propose a duel to the death.
Yeah, sure. Then let's turn it into an action movie or something.
Tang first talk. I like it.